I might collapse. Those two words stopped everything inside the Samurai Japan camp. Not a rumor. Not a story passed through third parties. A direct, personal confession from one of the most physically dominant and mentally unbreakable players on the entire Japanese national team roster. Kazuma Okamoto, the man opposing pitchers fear, the player teammates rally around, the cornerstone of Samurai Japan's lineup, looked the coaching staff in the eye and admitted something that nobody in that room was prepared to hear. And from that moment forward, nothing inside the Samurai Japan camp has been the same. According to multiple sources familiar with the internal situation, Okamoto's confession came shortly after his arrival at the national team facility. What was supposed to be a standard check-in process, medical assessments, tactical briefings, early training integration, turned into something far more serious the moment Okamoto sat down with team staff and told them exactly where his body stood. The sources described the room going completely silent. To understand the full weight of what Okamoto's confession means, you first have to understand who Kazuma Okamoto is and what he represents inside Japanese baseball culture. Okamoto is not the kind of player who asks for sympathy. He never has been. Raised in a household where discipline and persistence were the foundation of everything, he came through the NPB ranks by outworking every player around him at every level. Scouts who watched him develop in his early professional years consistently described the same thing. A player with enormous physical tools who somehow found ways to make himself even better through sheer volume of effort. Extra batting session. By the time he established himself as one of the NPB's most feared power hitters, that identity was fully locked in. Okamoto does not slow down. Okamoto does not show weakness. Okamoto plays through discomfort the way most people drink water, automatically without thinking twice. That is precisely why 3 words from him landed with the force that they did. When the player who never admits vulnerability sits down and tells you he might collapse, you do not question it. You act. According to sources close to the Samurai Japan medical staff, the physical assessment conducted upon Okamoto's arrival painted a picture that his exterior had been carefully hiding for weeks. The final stretch of his NPB season had been brutal. Not in terms of performance. Okamoto's statistics told the story of a player operating at peak level right through the final games of the regular season. But underneath those numbers, his body had been accumulating a level of physical debt that no amount of mental toughness could fully mask. The combination of a long NPB season, personal preparation for the WBC on top of regular team obligations, and the refusal to reduce his training intensity at any point had pushed him into a state of exhaustion that the numbers on a medical chart could not ignore. Multiple sources described the initial medical team response as one of immediate and serious concern. One source close to the camp said directly, "What we saw when Okamoto arrived was not the condition of a player ready to step into tournament intensity from day one. His body had been carrying more than anyone outside his inner circle knew. The fact that he performed the way he did in the final NPB weeks while running on those reserves is genuinely remarkable. But the debt was real and it had to be addressed immediately. The coaching staff was informed. Conversations happened quickly. And the decision was made that Okamoto's integration into full team training would need to be carefully managed rather than rushed. But the detail that sources continue to return to is not the medical assessment itself. It is the fact that Okamoto chose to be honest about it. In a sporting culture where showing physical limitation is often treated as a sign of weakness, where players routinely hide injuries, play through conditions that should sideline them, and present an image of invincibility regardless of what their bodies are telling them, Okamoto made a different choice. He sat down. He told the truth. He said the words that his competitive instincts were almost certainly screaming at him not to say. Sources indicate the confession came in a private moment with the team's medical director and 2 senior members of the coaching staff. Okamoto reportedly kept his voice calm and his language simple. He did not dramatize the situation or ask for special treatment. He simply said, "I pushed as hard as I could to get here ready. But right now, if..." A coaching staff member who was present later described the moment to a trusted source by saying, "In all my years in this sport, I have rarely seen a player show that kind of honest courage. It is easy to perform strength. It takes something much deeper to admit the truth in front of people whose respect you value." The reaction inside the Samurai Japan camp to Okamoto's confession has been layered and complex. Among the medical and coaching staff, the immediate response was professional and decisive. Recovery protocols were adjusted. His training schedule was restructured. The goal became clear: bring Okamoto to genuine competitive readiness within a specific and realistic window, without risking a situation where his condition deteriorates further under tournament pressure. Among his teammates, however, the reaction carried a different kind of emotional weight. Sources describe a quiet but powerful shift in the locker room atmosphere following the news of Okamoto's condition. Players who had been focused entirely on their own preparation suddenly found themselves thinking about the teammate who carries so much of their lineup's identity. Several senior members of the roster reportedly sought Okamoto out personally, not to express worry but to express solidarity. One teammate, speaking anonymously, said, "Kaz has always been the guy who makes us feel like nothing is impossible. Seeing him be honest about where he is right now did not make us trust him less. It made us trust him more. He put the team first by telling the truth. That matters more than any home run." Within Japan itself, the story of Okamoto's condition has generated an emotional response that goes far beyond standard sports. Okamoto occupies a unique place in Japanese public affection. He is not worshipped with the celestial reverence that surrounds Shohei Ohtani. That level of cultural transcendence belongs to a category of one. But Okamoto is loved in a way that is perhaps even more personal. He is the grinder, the worker, the player who represents what happens when talent meets an absolutely uncompromising work ethic and refuses to waste a single day of either. Japanese fans do not just admire Okamoto from a distance. They feel connected to him, because in his story, the long hours, the persistent effort, the refusal to take shortcuts, millions of ordinary people recognize something of themselves. That is why the news of his confession hit the Japanese public with the kind of emotional force it did. Social media platforms in Japan were flooded within hours. Messages of support poured in from fans across every demographic. Former NPB stars addressed Okamoto directly through national broadcast cameras, sharing their own experiences with tournament fatigue and offering words that carried the weight of genuine shared experience. A former Samurai Japan veteran, speaking on a major national broadcast, said, "Every player who has competed at this level knows what Kaz is carrying right now. The WBC comes at a point in the year when your body is already deep into a long competitive cycle. Most players hide it. Kaz told the truth. That is strength, not weakness." Manager Hideki Matsui has been navigating this situation with the careful precision that has defined his entire approach to leading this national team. Publicly, Matsui has been measured and deliberate in every word he has offered about Okamoto's condition. He has confirmed that the situation is being monitored closely by the medical staff while consistently refusing to provide details that would give opposing teams any tactical advantage. His message to the media has been consistent. The team is managing the situation professionally, and the focus remains entirely on the crucial game ahead. Privately, however, sources indicate that Matsui has been deeply involved in the daily conversations around Okamoto's recovery timeline. He is not a manager who delegates player welfare decisions and waits for reports. He is present. He is engaged. And according to sources, he has made it personally clear to Okamoto that the organization's priority is his genuine health and long-term readiness, rather than rushing him into action before his body is prepared. Matsui was heard telling staff during an internal meeting, "We did not bring Kazuma here to break him. We brought him here to win with him. There is a difference, and we will not forget it under any pressure." The tactical implications of Okamoto's condition for the crucial upcoming game are significant and cannot be understated. Opposing coaching staffs are not blind to the situation. In the age of real-time sports reporting, information travels fast, and opposing managers are already adjusting their thinking around the possibility that Okamoto's presence in the lineup may be limited or modified. The moment a feared power hitter is perceived as less than fully operational, pitching staffs recalibrate. Defensive alignment. Manager Hideki Matsui has been navigating this situation with the careful precision that has defined his entire approach to leading this national team. Publicly, Matsui has been measured and deliberate in every word he has offered about Okamoto's condition. He has confirmed that the situation is being monitored closely by the medical staff while consistently refusing to provide details that would give opposing teams any tactical advantage. His message to the media has been consistent. The team is managing the situation professionally, and the focus remains entirely on the crucial game ahead. Privately, however, sources indicate that Matsui has been deeply involved in the daily conversations around Okamoto's recovery timeline. He is not a manager who delegates player welfare decisions and waits for reports. He is present. He is engaged. And according to sources, he has made it personally clear to Okamoto that the organization's priority is his genuine health and long-term readiness, rather than rushing him into action before his body is prepared. Matsui was heard telling staff during an internal meeting, "We did not bring Kazuma here to break him. We brought him here to win with him. There is a difference, and we will not forget it under any pressure." The tactical implications of Okamoto's condition for the crucial upcoming game are significant and cannot be understated. Opposing coaching staffs are not blind to the situation. In the age of real-time sports reporting, information travels fast, and opposing managers are already adjusting their thinking around the possibility that Okamoto's presence in the lineup may be limited or modified. The moment a feared power hitter is perceived as less than fully operational, pitching staffs recalibrate. Defensive alignment. Samurai Japan's coaching staff is fully aware of this dynamic, and sources indicate they are working actively to manage the information environment around Okamoto's status. The goal is not to deceive anyone but to prevent opposing teams from gaining a psychological and tactical advantage from a situation that is still developing and still very much within the range of positive outcomes. Inside the camp, the message being reinforced daily is simple. The team is bigger than any individual situation. The preparation continues. The focus holds. And when Okamoto is ready, truly ready, not just willing, he will be in that lineup delivering exactly what Samurai Japan brought him here to deliver. There is a version of this story that ends with Okamoto walking onto the field for that crucial game, taking his position, and reminding every person watching exactly why his name belongs in the same conversation as the greatest players this country has ever produced. There is a version where the confession becomes the turning point, where the honesty that felt alarming in the moment becomes the foundation for a recovery that nobody expected to happen so quickly. Players who have competed alongside Okamoto believe that version is coming. One teammate said quietly before leaving the facility after a recent session, "Kaz told us the truth. Now watch what he does with the time he bought himself. That is who he is. He does not ask for anything. He does not plan to pay back with everything he has. You can build the most talented roster in the tournament. You can prepare the most detailed game plan. You can control